All right, friends, it's T-Man. We are back with a new video. Jason Blaha again. He just popped up. It just popped up. This thing just popped up, and I figured, you know what, I'm gonna do a reaction video to it. The gym lifting gear recruiting fitness slave himself, Jason Blaha. Oh, hey, he did a nice picture of himself here. Best of light, of course. Well, let's react. All right. Blaha says, how many sets do we need for great gains? That's a good question. How many sets do we need for great gains? Christ, man. What kind of gains? Sarcoplasmic? Jesus, because you don't gain when you damage muscles. You don't build muscles damaging them. They build outside later. They don't. If you damage a muscle, are you building a muscle? If you damaged it, what the fuck, man? Even if you did damage it, and you're not, because muscles are adapted. They're not damaging anymore after the first bout, but whatever.
How many actual sets do we need to gain muscle at an appreciable rate? Hey,
so how many sets do you need to gain sarcoplasmic hypertrophy muscles, these artificial muscles? Well, how many sets? Well, it really depends on how much glycogen you're eating. Now, you too still could gain a lot of this sarcoplasmic muscle if you were to, let's say you did a full body workout, right? Full body workout. And then you took a few days off and you just started glycogen loading like crazy. I guarantee you, even though you took all that time off and you didn't come back like for a couple days and you glycogen loaded the whole week, that whole week will allow you to glyco load. And I can guarantee you, in a couple of weeks, you'll gain 20, maybe even 30 pounds of sarcoplasmic hypertrophy muscles. And you'll have these nice, phony, artificial, steroidal look muscles without the muscularity like on steroids, the cosmetic look, but you'll look big like a steroid person. Your friends everybody will tell you in the gym that you took steroids because you gained 30 pounds so quickly in a couple of weeks because you were eating 100 or 50-pound bags of potatoes. Yeah, man. You can experiment with that if you want.
everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. I thought I would chat with you guys and gals a little bit about this today. And when I discuss this, I'm going to discuss a bit of the long-term research that's been done over the years. I'm going to ignore some of the current modern stuff from certain circles because, simply put, because I don't think it's really supported, and I think there's certain fringe groups within the research and the evidence-based world that are really pushing stuff that's I don't think appropriate. I don't think their data is, quite frankly, that good, and it just doesn't match what we've seen in the real world. So when we talk about these things, I'm going to say up front, I have seen over the decades, I have seen guys get phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal results on like 5 to 6.
I know what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that if you lift in the gym, I guess maybe this is what he's trying to say, that there's an open window for protein synthesis and that, you go and eat and then you're going to build a muscle from lifting. But why aren't you building? Why aren't you getting bigger? See what I mean? Because you've run out of these nuclei to synthesize any more protein. You are just turning over proteins. You're opening a window for protein synthesis, but you've got a window for protein breakdown. And so because you broke down these proteins, and then there's a window, of course, there's another window for protein buildup. Yeah. So you broke down proteins, you go eat, and then you restore them. Get it? You just keep restoring them. And what is that puffy look you're getting? An inflammatory response. Yeah, okay, you're building muscles in the gym, and inflammation, you're inflammaging the muscles and walking around with inflamed fucking muscles, bro. This is hilarious.
Sense. Okay, so that is usually going to be my baseline recommendation if you're going to train really hard. Okay, so we do need it in that context, and then I'll discuss kind of what research has shown over the years.
Look, what I'm saying is nothing new. It's kind of obvious. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? People inflame their muscles going to the gym. They're not getting bigger, these natural, so-called natural lifters, whatever you want to call them. And then they get frustrated and they want to take a turkesterone or a creatine or whatever. And it still is not working out for them because, man, to really build myofibrillar growth, I told you, to build myofibrillars itself, myofibrillars, these contractile proteins and every sarcomere number in parallel and whatever, bro, it's a lot of work. It's based on muscle damage, and muscles are protected from any more damage because they're resilient from further assaults. That's the reason they build themselves bigger and stronger. And they're also resilient from getting damaged what is it? The Trent twins bench pressing now. He tore his pec. Well, had he went through a couple of bouts of this repair and remodeling, the muscle would have been bigger and stronger to resist being damaged the way it was from that weight, 600 pounds. Yeah. I mean, the weight would have just collapsed on him because he couldn't lift it. But that wouldn't have fucking torn his pec at all whatsoever because he's weak. Because they don't damage muscles. They eat cookies all day. Here's the thing. They're so weak. Their muscles are so weak because number one, they eat carbs, a lot of carbs. Cookies, junk food, and donuts don't build muscles. They weaken your body. They weaken your bones and weaken your muscles. Steroids, they don't have magic powers. They are a plant toxin. They are toxic in the body when you inject it. So now you have also a stream of toxicity. The plants are toxic. You're eating these foods, these cookies, whatever they're eating. A bunch of stuff, bro. It's just ridiculous lifting. It's garbage, whatever. Blaha does the exact same thing. He eats tofu, rice, weird food, cookies, whatever. Garbage carbohydrates, garbage body. You have a garbage physique from eating garbage food. You are what you eat. If you eat garbage food, you look like garbage. Why do you think these carnivore doctors and carnivores, they all look fucking amazing when they're on the carnivore diet? All these women that go on carnivore diet and everybody, why do their physiques and their faces change? They look amazingly looking. Why? Because there's not garbage. They're not creating a garbage physique eating garbage food. But if you eat garbage food, you'll look like Blaha garbage. Seriously, I'm trying to help Blaha. If Blaha wants to look good, you are what you eat, Blaha. You need to eat natural food and you'll start looking better. But if you keep eating garbage, tofu and shit, then your physique will always look crappy. Your bald head, your old face, 85-year-old man, bro. Get it? Stop doing that. Stop destroying yourself. Listen to your instincts. Listen deep inside. Listen to that voice deep inside you. Yes. Blaha.
But when I say 5 to 6 sets can produce phenomenal muscle growth, I'm talking at least 90% of your potential gains. Okay.
Any sets can produce phenomenal sarcoplasmic gains, providing you eat enough glycogen. Of course, these sets can provide gains in the form of inflammatory response, getting inflamed muscles. Yeah, you could do 10 reps and your muscles will become inflamed and you'll walk around. You'll get some phenomenal results. Yeah, it'll last a good day, and then you got to come back and do it all over again. Get an inflammatory response, and walk around with inflamed muscles and say, "Look, Mom, I got big again." You understand? You got big, you got small. I got small, I got big. It's like the creatine people. They go away for a bit, then they shrink, then they come back again. They pump up the creatine again inside the muscle.
But sets got to be real close to failure or to failure, or again, even potentially using some.
Again, with that failure, they don't need the sarcoplasmic, doesn't need to go to failure. Doesn't need to do any. You need to eat a lot of glycogen. Yes. Now, here's the thing. If you want to build contractile proteins or whatever, myofibrillar growth, whatever, yes, protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown, providing there's something there to rebuild if there's something damaged there. Get it? And plus, you need these nuclei to synthesize protein. So that's a lot more difficult. That's difficult. Yeah, to get that satellite cell to donate its nuclei to that domain to support further muscle growth, that's complicated, bro. It's a lot of work there involved. So yes, you need to build muscles, you need protein to exceed that breakdown. And when it comes to sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, too, the same thing. Glycogen synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown, and more energy needs to be coming in than is being expelled. That's why you don't want to come often to the gym. If you come too often, then it becomes more difficult to build these sarcoplasmic muscles because you keep using the last batch of energy of these potatoes that you ate, the 50-pound bag of potatoes, you used it in the gym to be a lifting slave. If your job is to build sarcoplasmic muscles, then you need to focus on building them. Now, if your job is to inflame your muscles, come to the gym every day to be a lifting slave, well, then do that. Get it? And don't complain.
some various techniques, intensity techniques, such as what you see me do a little bit of on some of these lifts here, where I do a little rest, pause, take a set to failure, pause a few seconds, try to squeeze out another rep.
He wants to make it sound like it's so complicated to lose body fat. Hey, man, people on carnivore diet right away, all body fats go, everything goes away. They become lean so quickly right away. Yeah. They become lean. Hell, they could just skip rope and eat carnivore diet and they'll be like lean, super lean.
Okay, that's what we mean. So if you're not training at that level, really low volumes may not produce the amount of results that you're looking for. And I'm not saying they won't get results, even if you're
low levels will not produce the levels that you want. I can tell you right now, if you eat a 50-pound bag of potato every, 2 weeks, you finish a 50-pound bag of potato every 2 weeks, I guarantee, I swear on my auntie, bro, you'll be fucking massive. And you just come in the gym periodically, do some lifts, get the pump, and then leave. That's it.
Rep or two from failure. 5 sets will cause some growth. But here's what I'm saying. Is it going to cause...
5 sets will cause some growth? No. For every gram of glycogen, 3 grams of water will be drawn between the skin and muscle into the muscle and cause those muscles to grow in the sarcoplasm. Yes.
The type of growth you're looking for, is it just going to be 30%?
See, the type of growth are you looking for? Sarcoplasmic or myofibular? Well, this ain't myofibular training, that's for sure.
50% of what you could have gained. All right, we want it closer to 90%. And then keep
I see. Okay, well, 90%, yes.
keeping in mind when we talk about that 100% or going from 95 to 100% of your possible gains, that's where people are spending hours and hours in the gym. But we do need to be clear, this is oftentimes the case of people doing...
They spend hours and hours in the gym, yeah. They're never getting that sarcoplasmic hypertrophy either because they're not eating, they're expelling it as energy. They're not getting enough of these complex carbs.
Triple the work, hoping for 1%, 2%, 3% more gains. So again, we need a context for that.
How's Blaha doing? He getting those gains? I can see he looks massive, man. He looks like he's 340 pounds already.
And I actually these days personally enjoy the lower volume training because you can come in, hit it super hard and get out.
You notice he does the same weights, the same lifts, the same everything in every video. It's this green weight over here. He always does this for his triceps. Yeah. You're adapted and you're looking for a different outcome doing the exact same exercises. At some point, you're not even burning fat anymore either. Of course, he's going to try to starve himself skinny. That's really bad for your health.
And we saw this with a lot of the various programming of Mike Menzer disciplines over the years.
Mike Menzer was a drug addict, and he's a fake cosmetic look.
We saw a lot of stuff like even Stuart McRoberts, Beyond Braun, got a lot of guys really jacked.
Yes, they're all jacked. All these steroid drug addicts, okay.
We had the lean gains approach, which quite frankly was some of the lowest volumes I've ever seen. But Martin Burkham got jacked, and I knew people who used his stuff,
They would have got jacked on anything. They injected fucking plant genetics, dude.
10, 12, 13 years ago, who were having 30, 40-minute workouts 3 times a week, getting great results. I have clients who are jacked and strong, who literally train 45 minutes 3 times a week, okay? And keep in mind...
I like how he said they're jacked and strong. They train 45 minutes. Yeah, they're sarcoplasmic, bro. They're lifting. They got jacked to sarcoplasm and they're lifting. Muscles are really hard to build, like real muscle. You're born with a set of muscles and you die with those set of muscles. Yeah. They can get a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. Now, if you want to keep exceeding it, you have to do something specific.
I have clients who also do hours and hours because that's what they need for what they are doing overall. But when it comes to just gaining muscle, I've seen people produce phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal physiques training, even, 5, 6, 8 sets a week. Okay? And I'm talking bodybuilder quality physiques. And even me these days, at the time this video is being made, I do about 6 sets of muscle group. Okay? But here's your caveat with that. There's going to be overlap. In other words, it might be 6 sets for chest, but then we're still going to do overhead pressing and tricep work and stuff. So the arms are going to get more. There's going to be overlap. So what we're talking about is direct sets. Okay, so when we're talking about volume in this context, I am saying that we're only really counting 1 to 2 muscles, even on a compound movement, as being the muscles worked for that volume. But that still ends up being very, very low volumes. All right. But again, I've observed it over the many years. And again, let me be clear, when I say people with great physiques, I'm talking guys with better physiques than I have.
Hi there.
I'm talking guys up at well another tier.
Did he say people with physiques better than his? He comparing his physique to these people, bro. I told you before. If you want a nice looking physique, eat your natural food as a carnivore, mate. Stop eating these plant foods. They destroy your physique. Let me tell you something. They are junk food. All plant foods are junk food. That's why they're able to make what you call junk food out of plant foods, because they're junk food. You get it? Where does sugar come from? Plants. Where does the fiber and things that they use to make everything from these things that they make, all this stuff in the store, the candy bars, the candies and everything, the pops, the Coca-Cola, the whatever, from plants, bro, get it? And it makes you look like shit. That's what it does. That's its job, making you look ugly. It can make you look horrendously ugly, and a lot of people love looking ugly, and then they complain that they're ugly and why nobody loves them. You understand me? That's how fucking stupid that is. That's just ridiculous, man. Whatever, but
above me who train like that. But the trick is they train super hard.
Food has made him look like an 85-year-old man. Look at him. That's what the food is. That's what's doing. He's on top of it. He's exercises, inflammaging in the belly, inflammaging the muscles, inflammaging the body, eating an artificial diet, fake diet, which is destroying him.
Hard. Super hard. Like none of this, oh yeah, I could have done 3 more reps. Yeah, there's none of that in their training. Nope. So, what does kind of the research show? Most of the research I've seen going back a number of years, and what's interesting, even Dr. Volume, Brad Schoenfeld, who everyone's citing, and all these people are using him as the example of the research, I've even seen him admit in an interview the real research, if we go back and really look at everything, 4 sets. He said, look, there are studies showing 4 sets to failure produce very robust, measurable muscle growth in people. Okay, very consistently. Okay.
I told you before, pretty much any sets are gonna draw glycogen into the muscle. Yeah.
I've seen some studies going back that showed 3 sets taken to failure per week actually caused very good muscle growth.
Okay, if you say so.
Okay. Again, there's your context.
Yes, Blaha.
He said it, I've said it, we've seen it.
Yeah.
3 and 4, but even Dr. Brad is over here saying, yeah, there are clearly studies showing 4.
He's lowered his body fat, for sure. Blaha's lowered his body fat. But overall, his physique, his legs and everything, the way he looks, is because the food he eats, and he can't stop eating garbage. He can't stop eating junk food. Plants are junk food. Fruits, vegetables, these whatever they make shit out of that shit, it's all junk food. And the more junk food you eat, the uglier you become. Because everybody has found on carnivore and a seafood diet, what you call carnivore, whatever diet, you people out there, your looks start coming back. You get the chiseled face, you get the sunk-in cheek look. Your physique gets lean. It looks nice. You look muscular. You look really good. And I'm going to experiment with raw seafood now a lot. I got to experiment, but I'm going away right now. But I got to start experimenting more with raw seafood. Maybe I'll just straight raw seafood and see what happens. I don't know. It's brain power, definitely brain power. Seafood is brain power. I mean, too bad. Your mom should eat that, and then she should be feeding you that as you're growing up. You'd have a very high IQ. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Tesla's mom ate seafood, and then she fed him seafood. Maybe they live close to a river or a lake or something. I don't know. We have a propensity as humans to live very close to water. So we must have eaten seafood, a lot of seafood in the past. That's why we had bigger brains, because of seafood. That's what causes your brain to get big. And we're aquatic. We can even hold our breath up to 10 minutes in the water and hunt in the water, eat seafood and stuff. So, yeah, we don't have hair on our body. So it seems like we're aquatic. We're the type of mammal, you want to call us, an animal that would swim. We swim. We go in the water. Yeah. I would say we always live close. You notice cities are very close to the water. Many towns and cities and things we always build close to the water. Why is it? It's instinctual, because we are aquatic. Yeah.
hard sets a week is enough to produce robust muscle growth. And also keep in mind, 10 years ago, before we're seeing this big trend in the high volume, there were studies showing that exceeding 10 sets in a single workout for a muscle group blunted muscle growth.
Exceeding that would blunted muscle growth? Without these extra nuclei, you aren't synthesizing any protein, dude. You're not building anything there. So blunting, it doesn't blunt muscle growth. You understand me? These sets from grabbing more glycogen into the muscle, what are you talking about?
All right. Then we have to think about, people say, what about more volume through the week? But if you're not recovering, there have been plenty of data showing that if you're not recovered session to session, doing multiple sessions for a muscle doesn't cause any muscle growth to increase either. All right.
What? Man, he is like making this stuff up. This is not based on his experience. He's just making this shit up. Anybody experienced would never be rambling on like this garbage stuff that he's talking about. You would get straight to the point.
So my recommendations for most people, if you want to get jacked with the least amount of work, 5 to 6 sets for a muscle once a week will get the job done.
Yeah. I'll tell you this much. If you do a full body workout once a week and the rest of the week you eat a 100-pound bag of potatoes during that whole week, I guarantee you, within 5 weeks or so, you're 5, 6 weeks, 6 weeks even, you're gonna weigh like 30. You're gonna be 30 pounds heavier. 30 pounds. I could swear to God, you'll be 30 pounds heavier. You'll look like you're on steroids. Okay.
Okay, it will get the job done, but they will need to be hard. And when I say good results, I don't mean, oh yeah, that's only going to cause half. No, I mean the vast majority. You're going to get real close. But the other thing to remember, the upside to some of that, the time commitment's lower, your injury risk is lower. When we start doing really high volumes of training, usually you scale back and train less hard, number one. There can be a great conditioning component. But you also have to rotate exercises and things more often, because if you do not, guess what happens? Your risk of overuse and stuff go up. So when we start getting into very high volumes of training, keeping in mind, we're probably not doing it for extra muscle growth. We're probably doing it for conditioning, for calorie burn, for fat loss, for almost cardiovascular benefits. Okay, we're doing it for a lot of that. And if you're not careful with exercise rotation, exercise variation, changing movement patterns correctly, your risk of injuries can go up. All right. So again, we do need to be clear in that discussion. And I'm not saying that doesn't work. I mean, you can totally do that. I have clients who do it, but I have clients on the other extreme also. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have to say on that today.
I don't know what he's talking about, man. That's just crazy. Him and these clients, there must be fantasy clients. I don't believe he has any clients, but whatever. I'll see you in the next one, friends. Tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Blaha, he's not talking from experience. He's just making up stuff. It's ridiculous. Talk from experience, Blaha. Come on.